What's up guys, welcome back. TCG Metagame Breakdown for November 6th, 2016, at least 2017, my apologies. I'm feeling better compared to a couple of days ago, so let's go for it. Past weekend, and that's a bit sad, I only can present the results from one somewhat big tournament, and that's the ARG tournament series from past weekend, St. Louis. Top 16 breakdown, as you see here. All props for this. Again, all the lists were posted on the ARG website, but again, ready for duel, got a couple of, at least I think most lists up, like a very beautiful picture. Carloncho Store also got this graph from, so again, all the links to all the sources will be in the video description. Presenting from the ARG, going into new format. This is the new TCG format with, you know, drone at 1, quick fix at 1, GoFu at 1, and set rotation also hit. Diversity, that's something that we can definitely see from this, you know, this pie chart is a lot of decks were managed to top 16, but still we see that about 43%, so if I'm not mistaken, 7 out of the 16 decks that were able to top were Spyrals. Not really sure how many Spiral decks were representing, yeah, the whole tournament scene, how many Spiral decks were actually present during that ARG tournament, but still about 7 Spiral decks managed to make the top 16 cut. Something I forgot, I believe, if I saw it correctly, is that this particular tournament, the ARG series, had about 80-ish people. That should be like the correct number. And then, yeah, a lot of other decks as well. So again, the diversity post, at least going into the new TCG format, that's definitely one of the positive things we can take into account going into the new TCG format. As for the lists, all the lists were posted on the ARG website, and again, all links, all sources will be in the video description. The winner eventually, and that's something I think you already know, the eventual winner was Tricksters. Tricksters only managed to get 2 different lists in the top 16 cut, but still Tricksters managed to take the whole event, and this is the first place list. I believe nothing too special, very standard Trickster list, right, with a lot of hand traps still, so definitely good call from Joel White by still main decking a lot of hand traps, since again Spyrals, seeing from this pie chart, is still the best deck, right? Again, this was one tournament, but still, from these results, we can conclude that, yes, Spyrals might still be the best deck. Not tier 0, but again, definitely one of the, if not the best deck. So the hand traps here, the Trickster players still main decking like 10ish hand traps, definitely worked out for him. Evenly matched, I believe, and I have the results, I'll show it later here in the video, but evenly matched is like everyone and their mother was playing either main decked or side decked, was playing evenly matched. The card is so ridiculous, right? Even with, you know, set rotation only being at 1, the card definitely got back a lot of power. So Tricksters winning this event, somewhat surprising again, since it quote-unquote only had 2 players represented in the top 16. The other Trickster list was a little bit more special. He was main decking triple Metaverse, you know, the terraforming trap card, and also chain summoning Brilliant Fusion as well, with triple honest, only 1 hand trap, and at least main decked, which is the Maxi, the Troll and Lockbird, he side decked, and also the, oh, I forgot its name, the quick play spell card, the quick play double summon, you know which card, that you can use during your battle phase, if not mistaken. But again, the power of Trickster reincarnation definitely coming through here. So yeah, that's pretty much Tricksters. And then another archetype, or another list I have ready here is Infernoids. Infernoid was represented by 1 player, Alex Simpson, managed to, you know, top 16 here, ARG series, main decking a couple of hand traps in a 60 card build, triple Troll Unlock, only double Ash Blossom and 1 Maxi of course, but still triple charge, triple solar recharge, 1 of Grass is still very powerful, very strong and busted card, but as we see in the OCG where Spyrals is still Full Force and Tier 0, and same also for YCS London. Infernoids aren't doing a lot. It's definitely still a good deck, but it's not enough to make, most of the time, not enough to make the top 16 cut, but still Alex managed to do it. So side decking also the triple Reaper as well, double Ghost Ogre and Dimensional Barrier. Later in the video I'll come back to the most popular cards as well. And this is not, it's not something too, well, exciting is not the correct word, but we definitely saw it coming from YCS London last week with Michael Forner ending up top 8, and that's Burning Abyss. We see Kyle Reed here main decking at least playing the PK Fire build with a couple of hand traps in the main deck, 8 I believe, triple Ash, yeah, double Ogre, double Drawn Logbird and one of Maxi. He's also playing the, oh I forgot its name, it's the card next to BLS, you know, with Fairy Tail. It's also somewhat, yeah, blocking your opponent, but still, yeah, Burning Abyss we saw from yeah, YCS London last week. And the side deck, a lot of similarities with London as well, the double Dimensional Barrier, double Anti-Spell, triple Evenly Matched, triple Mistake as well. So this player, Kyle, opted, you know, to not main deck the Mistake like Michael Forner did at YCS London. The second Burning Abyss deck that managed to top 16, I believe Noah Green ended up, did he end up top 8 I believe, but again, top 16 list eventually by Noah Green. He did opt to main deck Triple Desires, might be a bit too dangerous, right, with the one of Seer and Graf, but still getting that extra card to work with. Could be, at least it worked out for Noah, right? Triple Anti-Spell in the main deck and the side deck full anti, same as Michael Forner last week at London. Triple Evenly Matched, triple Scolding as well, triple Reaper, triple Vanity's Fiend. Very, very clutch cards, you know, going into the new format against something like Spyrals as well. I will keep Spyrals for in a couple of moments. We have True Dragos. One True Drago list managed to end up the top 16. Unending Nightmare at the 2 copies in the main deck. They did main the Spellbook engine. Yeah, something interesting is no Invoked. There was like 0 Invoked players that ended up the top cut. Same for ABC. No ABC deck here in the top cut for this particular ARG series. The side deck here for the True Draco, yeah, Double Blossom, yeah, triple Evenly Matched, of course. The one of Mistake, if I'm not mistaken. No pun intended, but yeah, nothing too spectacular, right? It's masterpiece.deck. One Paleozoic list also managed to end up top 16, main decking triple Evenly Matched. I believe this was the only player main, at least that ended up top 16, that was main decking the Evenly Matched. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but the triple Anti-Spell, the Solemn Brigade in the extra deck as well, 44 cards main deck, the Spellbook engine as well, a couple of hand traps in the main deck, but still a very solid list, the one of Paleozoics ending up top 16. And then Magicians, also pretty much here in the TCG, pretty much at full force, right? With Triple Joker, they all gain more power when Link Vrains is released, but still, Pendulum Magicians next to Spyrals, one of the best decks currently in the TCG format, only had the 2 players represented in the top cut, so that's not a lot, if I'm honest. So Triple Desires in the main deck, double Drawn Logbird in the side deck, only 4 hand traps in the main deck, but now we see here as being the first tournament in going into the quote-unquote new TCG format that Spyrals is still very strong, and that a lot of players still prefer Spyrals, since, let's be honest, Spyrals, even though they are heavily weakened, they can still pump out those nasty boards, right, with, you know, Tri-Gate Wizard now, etc, etc. So maybe going at least with the knowledge we have now, Magician players might want to run more hand traps now, seeing from these statistics. The second Pendulum Magician list opted to main deck 42 cards, little more hand traps, triple Ogre as well, but the side deck, triple Barrier, triple Scolding, triple Evenly Matched, yeah, says a lot about the upcoming format, right? Double Oath Dragon in the main deck as well. Then, the most interesting going into the new format, and that's the Spyrals. A lot of Spiral lists, again, if not mistaken, 7 out of the 16 players were Spyrals here in the top 16 cut. Again, not too many changes, at least between both, at least between all these lists, like the one was playing like more hand traps or decided to main deck Ghost Ogres, you know what I mean, right? A little more or less hand traps. But going into the new format, the consistency of Spyrals was definitely hit with only only want Quick Fix and Drone, but we saw that, and I have to take a look at my sheet here, is that set rotation was put to 1 and only 2 of the 7 lists were main decking the 1 copy of set rotation, and 3 out of the 7 lists were still main decking the Strudel, so the other 4 players opted not to main decking the Strudel. And I believe, again, correct me if I'm wrong, all the new Spiral, at least all the Spiral decks here going into new format will all main decking either 2 or 3 copies of the Foolish Burial of Belongings. Again, possibly sending either the Spiral Trap or the Spiral Spell that special summons something from your hand, I believe, to the graveyard. So again, trying to keep the consistency of the deck like higher than it was, at least, yeah, trying to get the same results as yeah, pre the banlist, right? But again, try get Wizard being a very strong guard still by establishing your board, since again, that's something I said before, Spirals going into the new TCG format November 6th can still pump out pretty much the same boards, right? And add in try get Wizard as well. It's a bit it's a little bit more inconsistent, since, you know, Quick Fix at 1, etc. But still, the fact that Spirals can still bump out these disgustingly OP boards makes this deck probably still the best choice, best deck going into yeah, like regionals or yeah, bigger tournaments like a YCS. So yeah, that's, I believe, it for the Spirals. So yeah, yeah, let's take a look at the top 5 cards. Again, I like all the deck lists were put together, and I believe, again, correct me if I'm wrong, the most popular card, yeah, like the card that pretty much everyone was playing was Ash. Ash Blossom was played at 43 copies, so that's about 15 of the 16 players were main decking or side decking copies of Ash Blossom, either like, yeah, 2 or 3 copies of Ash Blossom. So only one player decided not to either main or side deck the Ash Blossom. The card at second place here is, again, no surprise, and it's evenly matched. Evenly matched was sitting at about 32 copies in the main or side deck, so roughly set about 11 of the 16 players were either main decking or side decking multiple copies of evenly matched. Third place, again, no surprise, again, as we saw from the OCG, are the hand traps. Both Ogre, Ghost Ogre, and Winter Cherries, Reaper, Ghost Reaper, both sitting at 24 copies in either main or side deck, so roughly set, again, about half, so 8 of the 16 players were either main or side decking, you know, the Ogres and or Reapers. Again, interesting. Fourth place, no surprise, guys, Troll and Logbird, 21 copies here in the top 16 list, so roughly set about 7 of the 16 players were either main or side decking the Troll and Logbird. Scolding as well, sitting at the 5th place, same result, so about 7 of the 16 players were either, yeah, probably side decking, in this case, the Scolding, right? Other results, the Spiral players, I believe 6 of the 7 Spiral players were main decking 1 copy of DD Crow. Maxi was main decked by everyone. Everyone was main decking the 1 copy of Maxi. Solemn Strike, the Solemn Brigade, well, Solemn Warning was only sitting at 3 copies in the whole top cut. Strike, on the other hand, at a little more representation in the top cut, about 4 to 5 people were main decking, or at least side decking Solemn Strike. Same for Anti-Spell, about 5 duelists preferred to, most of the time, side deck the Anti-Spell. And same for Dimensional Barrier, 6, about roughly again 6 players were playing the Dimensional Barrier, probably side decked. So again, very interesting results. Sadly, only one big tournament, but again, I tried looking up other tournaments, other results as well, but yeah, just give it time. Going into next format, new TCG format, Spirals are still the best deck, at least from this particular tournament, but it's not something tier 0, so we know now and we can all adjust our list that Spirals are still very strong, one of the best decks, if not the best deck, and maybe again main deck, like more hand traps in our Magician / True Draco / Trickster deck. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching, and feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.